What's good, everybody? It's Tony Online. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. So before I get started in this video, I want to put a little disclaimer out there and say that in no way, shape, or form am I making this video for sympathy or to victimize myself or anything to that degree. I'm putting this video out there with the intention of, like informing someone, possibly helping someone, possibly saving a life. Because what I had to endure in this relationship for like the past 4 to 5 years, I feel like it's a blessing that I'm even alive to tell this story. So this video was a story time about the time that my ex assaulted me and threatened to unalive me.
That's from me trying to defend myself.
But I kind of want to just give some background information to how it got there, because just the verbal insults and their side of the story just let me know how narcissistic and delusional they are. So for confidentiality sakes, we're gonna call this person Bristina. So I met Bristina 4 or 5 years ago. After I recently got out of a relationship. They say you shouldn't, when you end a relationship, you shouldn't hop into another one. That was my mistake that I take accountability for, but I still feel like it doesn't excuse anything that I had to, endure. So when I first met Bristina, the signs of just a narcissistic, abusive person, they honestly weren't there, but at the same time they were kind of hidden in plain sight. So actually, the first night that I met with Bristina, I linked up and I picked Bristina up from, the crib. And this was our first one-on-one date. It was at night. So I feel like the red flags kind of were there in the beginning, so to speak. So I picked Bristina up. And Bristina gets in the car and immediately pulls out, has a Newport. I'm like, oh, okay, Bristina, you're a little rock star, are you not? I've been on the scene, I've been around, so none of that stuff was really shocking to me. But it kind of, the fact that someone, on the first night of us getting to know each other, they're doing just kind of shows you how numb I was at that point. So me and Bristina, we hooked up, and I thought Bristina was really cute, really chill, my type, high key, and I didn't think anything of it. I'm the kind of person, when I find someone attractive or someone piques my interest, I'm not a super thirsty person. I don't care, because I know that at the end of the day, I'm the prize, and I'm for sure boyfriend, husband material. So I wasn't in any rush. Bristina's whole standpoint is oh, well, you went out of your way to try to find out who I was, trying to find out about me, da 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 da. But that wasn't the case, because in the beginning I literally didn't even care. So I thought Bristina was cute. Me and Bristina hooked up a couple of times. Like I said, first time is a hit or miss. Second time something is there. Third time, you're in for the clear type shit. So by the third time we hooked up, after hanging out and I just feel in the beginning of our relationship, everything was perfect. Like everything just had so much potential to grow because the energy was pure. There was no like problem in our relationship. And what kind of hurts me is the fact that Christina, like fucked everything up. Honestly, like I don't really remember if this situation, I truly don't remember if the situation all happened in one night or if it happened on two separate occasions in like a short time span. I really don't remember. But one time, Christina, we we met at my apartment and we started hooking up and stuff. And at the time, like I only tried like a couple of times, and I was always taught that like it's super addicting and it's super bad. Um, but like they say, like people and their vices, if you hang around someone long enough, their energy and their vices start to rub off on you. So one time me and Christina hooked up and Christina was like, oh, do you want to do? And I'm like, sure. So I do, and I see that I really like it. So not only did I do Patron that night as well. And like, mind you, y'all, at the time, like I was just getting to know Christina. I didn't really care about Christina's real name, or I don't really care about who Christina was or their past. I really didn't care because I was getting to know Christina. So like, I'm drinking Patron and also, and wait, no, that happened afterwards. So y'all, like this relationship is a blur at this point. I don't even really remember. I think that this happened first because it was a huge red flag that I didn't pay attention to. Okay, so one day me and Christina were hooking up in my bed, and then out the blue, Christina pulls out a, mind you, like we're hooking up, so like we're in an intimate position. Christina pulls out and points it at my face, like, and I'm like, what are you doing? Christina's like, oh, I think someone's in this apartment. I think you lied about not having any roommates, and I think that you're setting me up, something like that. And I was like, no one's here. Like it's just me and you. I'm like, yeah, like I think that this apartment is haunted too. In the back of my head, I'm like, are you crazy? Like, what the who does that? Like, who randomly pulls out a and points it at someone's face while they're hooking up because they think that someone is in the apartment? Like, I'm like, okay, that should have been the red flag that like made me cut them off in the beginning, because that moment that moment really was scary. Like that was really like a life or death situation, because I didn't know what Christina's intentions were and what Christina intended on doing. But I was definitely like shook and definitely a little bit scared. But I think the reason why I overlooked it is because I was able to like calm Christina down and not let them something that wasn't even true. Boom. That night was really, really scary and weird, and it was definitely a red flag that I should have paid attention to. Boom. So I think afterwards, I ended up trying or doing Christina, and like I told you, like at the time, like I only tried a couple of times, and I'm not that big of a drinker. I wish I would have known that back then. I did drink, but like I never mixed it with like, feel me. So Christina gives me like 5 to 7 shots of Patron after offering me. So I think I drank like hella shots of Patron, and it all hit me at once. Like I felt like the room was spinning. Like I felt like everything was just moving way too fast. It was like I couldn't control my body. Like every time Christina would like move me around in a different position or like tug on me, it's like I couldn't control it. Like I would go with anything, like any direction basically. So I'm like, Christina, like, can you chill? Like I'm like going incoherent. I'm like, can you chill? Like I don't feel good. Like I'm like falling asleep, trying to stay awake, basically. And Bristina's whole demeanor is like, fuck that. I don't give a fuck about you about to pass out and going unconscious. That was just their demeanor. And I'm like, okay. So that night, and this is the fake that Brashina swore is just fake and made up, and I did it out of ill intention. It wasn't out of ill intention. It was out of you taking advantage and doing something highly illegal with me unconscious and in a vulnerable state of mind. It was that. So after that situation happened for like a couple of hours. It started in the daytime. It ended up at like 5 a.m. in the morning. So eventually, Brasina, because the entire time I'm like trying to fight Brasina off. I'm like, can you chill? I don't feel good. Like, can you give me a break? At one point, I did like pass out completely, and I didn't realize I was in that situation until Brasina literally like yoked me up out my like. Having to talk about this shit all over again. It's just like. But anyways, so Brasina just acted like nothing happened, like no regard, like didn't give a fuck, just like, oh, take me home. So I did. And then after that night, Brasina ghosted me for like 2 weeks. And what kind of like got me was the fact that like it just felt like deja vu from college. And I'm like in a super vulnerable state of mind, like, did this really just happen again? Like, why would they do that? Like, why would they ruin a perfect opportunity to create an amazing relationship? And it fucked me up that like happened, and the fact that like I was ghosted for about 2 weeks. And mind you, like Brasina had a habit of just like going ghost for like a couple of days or a couple of weeks. But it never really bothered me because like I said, I was getting to know Brasina. I'm the kind of person, like I'm not thirsty. I'm not someone who's gonna chase after you because like I said, I know I'm the prize. But it was just something about being ghosted after that situation happened that impacted me, because it's like, how could you do something like that and then just go ghost and have no type of remorse? So that kind of was painful because I kind of feel like a part of me died. I felt like a part of me, and I was doing really, really good at the time. I felt like a part of me died. I felt like a part of me I could never get back, and I felt like that part of me was taken away. But, you know, life happens, I guess. So, me and Christina, we link up a couple of times afterwards. Mind you, at the time, I still didn't know Christina's name. I didn't know who Christina was, like, in real life. Nor did I really care. But what made me, I guess, stick around was the fact that, like, I just felt like that night, that night with Christina, I felt like it was, like I said, I felt like it was deja vu. I felt like I was making the same old mistake. And I felt like the first time that happened to me, I kind of like didn't really think things through. And also I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, if I ever want to like press charges, I at least want to know who you are, because what happened that night was super illegal. But I feel like the normal average person would have just cut them off and victimized himself and like just I don't know. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not a victim. I'm not seeking sympathy, and it's always chestnut checkers. And I'm like, in order for me to possibly press charges or possibly get justice, I have to at least know who they are. So instead of me just like playing the victim, I guess, and like just, I don't know, like going on with my life, I'm like, I gotta play it smart and at least find out who they are, or let me at least like get to know this person and see if it really was that. Because at the same time, I mean, I did drink a lot, and that kind of was my fault. And I'm like, maybe it wasn't even that situation. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe Brasina was just really turned on. And still to this day, I don't know. I keep an open mind with everything. So one night, after me and Brasina hanging out a couple of times, there were just signs of Brasina just being like, just like controlling in certain ways and weird. Like if I would be too tired or I didn't feel like doing something, Brasina wouldn't care. Brasina would just be like, like no, like like guilt trip me into feeling like bad about like being tired or wanting to take a nap. And I also kind of felt like Bristina's like bad habits or vices. I also felt like they were kind of like rubbing off on me because every time we were hanging out, I was drinking and I was doing. That wasn't a combination or something that I was really doing before I met Bristina. But I think I was just so caught up in like love and my emotions and just everything that I didn't really think about that. One night, me and Bristina, we do and we drink a lot and we're smoking and like me, like the thing about Bristina likes to like go hard. Like the thing about Bristina doesn't understand stop and Bristina doesn't understand no. And again, those probably were red flags that I should have paid attention to. So one night after me and Bristina were partying, Bristina was like, "Oh, can you take me home?" And I'm like, "Oh, like I'm really tired. Like, can I at least take a little nap for like I don't know, 30 minutes. Brisina just wasn't trying to hear it. Got mad, took my keys, basically like stole my car and drove off. The first time Brisina did it, Brisina drove back though with my keys and I took Brisina home. But another situation happened, and this is the situation that made me, I guess, like try to find out who Brisina was, because it's like you just kept doing fucked up illegal shit to me for no reason. Like, when are you gonna stop? Who are you? You know what I mean? Like, who am I really dealing with? So the second time happens again. Like, I'm crashing. I'm tired. I don't feel like driving all the way home from Hollywood all the way to Inglewood when I can just take a nap and be refreshed and da da da. You know what I mean? So this time I'm like, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, can I take a nap? But this time, Brisina wasn't trying to hear it. Brisina didn't give a fuck. So Brisina's like, give me your car keys. I'm like, no. Brisina's like, give me your car keys. I'm like, no. So then Brisina tackles me. We're wrestling over my car keys. So Brisina takes my phone and takes my car keys. Brisina steals my car and my phone. And so, mind you, I don't know Brisina's name. So when I tried to do a stolen vehicle report with the police, I couldn't really provide them with much information because I didn't know Brisina's name. Because I didn't care. Because I didn't expect me to have to file a police report on you. You know what I mean? So the police can't do anything. I don't have my phone. I don't have my car because my car was stolen and my phone was stolen. So I'm like going to the property manager at my hotel, trying to get surveillance footage. They couldn't find anything, but then something told me to call my phone. So I caught my phone and someone actually had my phone. Like when Brasina threw my phone out the window, by the grace of God, someone picked my phone up and they kept it. So the next day I called my phone and I picked it up and I thanked the person and then I text Christina, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where's my car? Where are you? Why did you do this? I don't think Christina expected me to be able to get my phone and to contact them, but I did. So Christina's like, I'll drop your car off at the at the Slauson liquor spot. So I get my phone, I get my car, and then I'm like, that's really fucked up. And so something told me like do a background check, like do a reverse phone lookup for this person. So again, Brasina just swears I went out of my way to try to get to know them, to try to get their information, some federal shit. No, it was only because you literally did hella fucked up shit to me and you stole my car twice. I need to know who the fuck you are. You feel me? So I use the number that Bristina was texting me off of, and ironically, all of Bristina's information was on there. Their government, arrest history, Facebook page, everything's on there. And so, yeah, everything's on there. And so, the weird part about Bristina is like, Bristina would do fucked up shit to me, and I'm such a forgiving person. I will forgive Bristina, and then me and Bristina will hook up and hang out and do happen. So we did this a couple of more times until I just got like emotionally overwhelmed with everything. I was just like at a point in my life where I was like, I want to see like, because I found out, because when I did the background check, I found out that Bustina was lying about a lot of shit, like for no reason. And I'm the kind of person like once I find out that you're a liar, I like to like sit back and observe you lying in my face, basically. So I stuck around, but at the same time, it was really hurting me because of how I was being treated in this relationship, where my life was going. I was on with this person all the time. It was like I was just changing and I was hurting and I was being mistreated in this relationship. And I didn't know who to go to, who to talk to. But when I did the background check, I was able to find their Twitter page because who else was I going to talk to? Like, who else was I going to tell? Like, the police really didn't care. We had no mutual friends because Brashina was older than me. And at the same time, nobody really knows Brasina. So I make like a Twitter page, like reaching out to all of Brasina's followers on their Twitter page, like, can you help me? Like, do you know this person? Is this person always like this? Has this person hurt other people like this? So only like 2 people DM me concerned. One person I already met before, but a long time ago. And the second person, I guess, was their close childhood friend. I don't know. But I explained everything to them and they were like, oh, Brasina isn't like that. Like, I don't know why this happened, basically. But I think that when I made that Twitter page, someone, like, they all went back to Brasina and told Brasina without telling me. And it was just like a lot of weird backdoor snakish behavior. Like a lot of behind the scenes stuff that would happen behind my back that nobody would tell me about, basically. So this was like 2022. So me and Brasina, we stopped talking for a couple of months. And then out the blue, like that summer, Brasina like contacts me. It just wasn't fair because everything was super one-sided in the relationship. So after months of not talking to me, Brasina like contacts me. And mind you, like I'm still hurting. Like I still was hurt. I still was being gaslit. I still was being ghosted. I still felt like I was being mistreated. And fucked up shit still was happening to me. But like that's why I feel like I don't judge people who are in like these type of relationships, because it really is hard to just leave. You know what I mean? It's so easy to say, oh, just leave. That person's mistreating you, leave. it's easier said than done, especially when the relationship is very one-sided. So after months of not talking to Bristina, me and Bristina hook up again. Bristina, of course, has. And what's weird is like after we hook up, Bristina is like, "Oh, can you do me a favor? Can you never talk to me again? I know what you did. It was fucked up." I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense because it's like, if you felt like that, why would you talk to me and then wait till after we hook up to tell me that? It was just like a lot of weird, narcissistic, egotistical behavior that just never made sense to me. But and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not trying to paint Bristina out to be this bad person, because there were a lot of amazing, like, there were a lot of good moments in our relationship that probably was the reason why I overlooked a lot of like the toxic behavior, because we did have a lot of good moments. But then like when things started to change or like get better rather, because I was just praying that, like, you know, things would change, our relationship would get better, we would be able to like move past everything basically. Things did start to get better, but then things would start to get better, but then Bristina goes to prison, um and didn't even tell me. And I only found out because something just told me, like, look at the LA search, because it was just unusual. Like, yeah, I was ghosted before, but that was because of like a more serious like reason, and we were on good terms, so there was no reason for Bristina to just go ghost like that again. So come to find out, Bristina was in prison, and it kind of like, it fucked me up, because it was like, now I'm just left alone with this bad news. um I'm left alone with this bad news. Like, you're like the only person that I'm really emotionally connected to, and it's like, now you're gone, and now I have to like deal with everything on my own. So I do write Bristina a couple of times in prison, no response. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, at this point I have to choose me. You know what I mean? I still have goals, I still have dreams, I still have aspirations, I still have things that I want to do in life, and I can't break like this. Like, I can't, basically, I can't do this right now. So Bristina is locked up for like 6 months. And then I prayed that like Bristina would be released earlier, you know what I mean? Because originally it said that Bristina wasn't going to be released until August 2025. And mind you, this was in 2023. I just prayed that something would work out, they would be released earlier, and Bristina was released earlier, like damn near 2 years earlier. So I'm like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm choosing me first. Like, I'm not about to reach out to you. I'm not about to beg you to be my friend. I'm not about to say like, well, why didn't you da 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 da? If you want to reach out to me, you know where to find me, and that happened. So Bristina did reach out to me a couple of times after being released from prison. But at that point, like, I kind of found myself again, and I was more so just invested in finding my peace of happiness, my peace of mind, what I want to do, myself, my sanity, my soul. And I kind of felt like Bristina could feel that, because I wouldn't really reach out like that unless Bristina would reach out to me, basically. And so it's like I started choosing myself. Boom. So even though Bristina was released from prison in like 2024, we didn't actually hang out again until February of 2025. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. That's fucked up. Come to find out, the whole time you're like doing backdoor, sneaky, behind the scenes shit that kind of makes sense because it's like, I always told if someone's not talking to you, they're talking about you. Boom. So, um, we hook up again in my new apartment, and I can kind of tell that Christina changed. What gets me is like when we hooked up again in February 2025, everything was good. Like the vibe was good. There was this one situation where Christina, I was falling asleep because, like I said, Christina doesn't understand stop and no. And Christina likes to keep going and going. And realistically and humanly, people get tired and want to rest and take a break. Christina smacks the shit out of me while I'm sleeping. It's like, wake the fuck up, like you're ruining a good time. And I'm like, there are a couple of situations where, because I like rough sex. So there was a couple of situations where Christina would do some shit like that, or like choke me, but like I didn't really think anything of it, and I didn't really understand if it was just like rough sex, or if it was you trying to, you know what I mean, like trying to harm me. So after Christina smacks me, Christina kisses me, and it kind of turns me on. But in the back of my head, I'm still like, that was weird. Like that kind of hurt. So boom. So that night ended normally, you know what I mean? But then like a couple of days later, Christina's like, "Oh, I need help. Like my car shut down. Can you give me like $200?" I'm like, "Sure, no problem." Mind you, like I'm in the mindset of like everything is good, everything's okay. We're just starting our relationship over, getting back on good terms. You know what I mean? I didn't know there was some secret animosity. Like anyway, so yeah, so the night where Christina assaulted me and threatened to unalive me was after that day. So what was weird is like February, March, April. So March went by, I didn't hear from Christina, and April comes, and so Christina hits me up, and mind you, like a lot of good stuff was happening in my life, and a lot of good stuff happened in my life, and I was excited to tell Christina. Like I was telling Christina everything. Christina was like, "Okay, like that's cool, that's dope." Da 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 da. So the night that, or the day that that happened, I get literally like an 14 grams, and me and Christina, we do the. I don't know if it was that made Christina like spaz out like that, and I don't know if it was just honestly like the drugs that made Christina act out like that, because I feel like certain drugs, they do lower like your ego defenses, and they do kind of like make you face yourself basically. And so things were going like really, really good. Like I was actually having a really good time with Christina. But then out the blue, Christina like smacks me. Christina smacks me. And like I said, like I like rough sex. So I'm thinking like, it's just a part of rough sex. But I'm like, damn, babe, like that shit hurt. Like that shit felt like a punch. Like, you not fuck out my face. Christina's like, oh, like that wasn't a punch like that. I'm like, okay. And back in the head, I'm like, that shit was a punch. That shit hurt. So Christina does it again. Christina smacks me again. I'm like, whoa, like that. Can you chill out? That shit hurt. It's like Christina didn't even hear me. Christina smacks me again, smacks me again. I'm like, y'all, in real life, y'all know I would have been with the shits, but it's like, I don't know if we just being freaky or if it's you really trying to harm me. So, I find out that Christina is dead serious because Christina says some shit like, oh, Like, Christina just starts acting hella weird, like hella aggressive. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where is this going, basically? And like, keeps slapping me, like, keeps putting their hands on me. And I'm like, okay, at this point, like, A, I've never been in this situation. And B, you've never been this aggressive. So I'm like, what? But in the back of my head, I did, like, anyway, so Bracina's like, in the back of my head, I'm like, weapons, 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 where are the weapons at? Whole time, Bracina doesn't even know it's a butcher knife behind their head, but it's behind the window curtains. But then I'm thinking about the knife that we use to cut. So Bracina, in my head, I'm like, I gotta get the knife before Bracina gets the knife. But then Bracina's already on it. Bracina's like, oh, hand me that knife. And I lean over to go get it, but then I keep it for myself and I don't give it to Bracina. But I did notice, like, the minute I like had the knife and I kept it, like, the aggression and the animosity like decreased significantly. That's why I know, like, I don't, and what gets me even to this day, and what's sad is that I have to contemplate it. Sometimes I don't even know what Bracina would have done if I would have given them the knife or they would have had the knife. I don't know what they would have done just because of the behavior that they exhibited by the end of the day. So to make this long story short, that Bracina was just saying stuff like, I'm realizing Bracina has a whole bunch of pent up animosity because Bracina's like, oh, and you got everyone out here looking at me like I'm crazy. You want to make up these fake. Bracina kept bringing up these fake. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And there's like gang banging, like, oh, NHP, I should have blessed you. Like, basically threatening me. Like, if you don't know, like, when someone says they're gonna bless you, that basically means they're gonna. And it's doing the most, like, oh, and you wrote me in prison and da 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 da. Like, basically bringing up all these old things from like years ago. Like, I don't know if it was the liquor, I don't know what it was, but it's like you had all this pent up animosity, and like now you're taking it out on me for what? It was just hella weird and backdoor. So to make a super long story short, Bracina just kept wanting to have sex, and like by that time I was just turned off. So it was like, when I was having sex, like Bracina was like acting normal, acting chill. But the minute I was like, I don't want to do it, or I'm just like turned off or tired, Bracina would just get super like aggressive and crazy and try to get physical. So then at this point, I'm just like, enough is enough. Like, you're doing too much. You said too much. You've already made me feel uncomfortable. You've already insinuated that you're, if you ever see me again, or I don't know, you basically already violated me. So what happened? Like, I don't even trust Bracina near me. Like, the entire time I'm like being like choked, like manhandled, like thrown down, slapped. And then I'm like, at this point I feel uncomfortable. I'm like, I lock myself in the bathroom. I'm like, I'll call you an Uber, but you have to leave. Like, can you leave? Christina's like, I ain't gotta do shit. I ain't gotta get the fuck out. Da 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 da. Like, just, I've never seen this side of Christina before, so I'm a little bit caught off guard. And I'm a little bit hurt because it's like, we were supposed to be like this, but obviously it's not like that. I don't know if it was the drugs or whatever. But basically, Christina kicks the door. Like, I locked the bathroom door, but kicks the door. And it was like, oh, well, what made me lock myself in the bathroom was the fact that Bracina was like trying to make me deposit money in my, like, you think you finna rob me? Are you stupid? So Bracina literally thought that I was finna leave my house with Bracina here, and clearly you didn't know me that well enough. So Bracina's like, send the bread, send the bread, send the bread. After kicking my door, like kicking a hole in my door and unlocking the door, and is like punching me in the face, like, send me the bread, boom, send me the bread. But like my jaw's still kind of sore and like it's doing too much. I'm like, I've already given them enough chances to leave without this getting ugly, without this getting violent. So I'm just like, fuck that. So I'm like, can you chill the fuck out? And I'm like, we're seeing that. I don't even know how many times, but it was blood like all over the shower, all over the wall. It was blood on my face. I'm like, I don't know if it's your blood or my blood because you did punch me in my face. You did punch me in my nose. So I'm like, I don't know if my nose is bleeding or my lip is bleeding, but there's blood on my face. So yeah, that happens, and then yeah, just the look in Christina's eyes were just dark and gone and evil, and it was the same eyes I saw the night of them putting a gun in my face, and it was just honestly it was heartbreaking. It was numbing, but it was just weird. And then after that happens, my phone was outside of the shower. So ironically, the Uber driver still stayed. And then Christina called them like, where are you? And then went home. And then texted me like nothing had happened. Like, oh, yo, thank you for the Uber. But then was like, are you really like this? I just didn't respond. And the whole message of my story is like, I feel like, yeah, it's easier said than done to just leave like a abusive situation. But I really do feel like these days, like people are like crazy and they're taking things too far. And if there are red flags that your partner is abusive, at least like pay attention to them and like observe them and like try to plot out your exit because yeah. Anyways, if you like this story, don't forget to like and subscribe. More content on the way. No.